Coach Banghart, I'm glad you came on your Moment Network to come talk with me and have some good dialogue.
I look forward to it.
Quick question, Coach. Let me get started. Let me ask you, how is it coming from an Ivy League school to the ACC, which is a Power 5 conference?
Yeah. Basketball is basketball and kids are kids, right? The transition's been really great. I mean, transitions are disruptive, right? You disrupt the place you left. If you meant something there, and you disrupt, you're joining a disruption when you take over a new job. So part of it was that process of building trust and putting in your culture quickly. But man, I feel like I've literally landed in, as they call it, blue heaven. I mean, it's so nice here. It's a basketball school. It's so I've just really, it's been good. It's you'll always miss if you don't miss where you left, you stayed too long. So of course you're.
But Coach, you was at Princeton 12 years, Coach.
Yeah, got the job when I was about 5. That means.
Was that a hard decision to leave Princeton and go to University of North Carolina?
Yeah, I think luckily the kids had so much success. I had a lot of time to think about it because I had some other inquiries throughout my tenure there. I think it was North Carolina. It sort of was a no-brainer, I have to say. I also was looking for a different chapter. I felt like I had sort of done what I could do at Princeton. I had so much success, and I was ready for something different. And I got really lucky that the timing and fit worked out worked out together.
Right. Wow. Okay. Wow, Coach. Well, we welcome you, man. We very excited to have you in there. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Cool.
How will recruiting change for you?
I think that you always want, when you walk into the gym. When I was at Princeton, I didn't really feel bound on the front end to the academic portfolio. I wanted the best kids in the gym. That hasn't changed. I think the international brand at Princeton is pretty comparable to the international brand here. Mm-hmm. I've gotten to meet, some really good people through this process. The recruiting you've expanded a little bit in terms of you're less in a box. Some of the handcuffs are off here. Right. So that's been a little bit different. So now instead of the best people on your court, you're looking for the best people in the whole gym.
Wow.
And so that's been a fun. Yeah, that's been a fun transition.
There you go. Yeah. So my question to you is, Coach, what is your coaching style? What is your emotional identity?
I would say the biggest thing is that I have 2 Ivy League degrees, right? So I'm the most expensively educated coach in the country. And Woo! So for me, if it wasn't going to be relational, right, and impactful, I should just be on Wall Street. And so for me, coaching is so much about the journey, right? And then along the way, if we do the journey right, we'll win a lot of games. So I just love the process of getting to watch people surpass their limits, getting to help them, surpass any perceived ceiling. I love getting into a challenge with my staff. I always say I'm going to hire and recruit people I can lose with, because if you can lose with them, you're not going to lose very often, because it means you've sort of given yourself your best all the time. So I can win with anybody, right? But you're looking for the guys that you can lose with.
Right. Wow. Can you explain Bella Allen there, Coach, what type of impact she will make in the WNBA, who once played for you at Princeton?
Yeah, boy, she's really, she's such a great talent. She's all of 6'5". She came to us as a face-up player, and we really helped her around the rim and kind of around that 15-foot range. So she's really developed great touch. She has incredible instincts. She's a much better shooter than she didn't have to shoot much in the Ivy League, because she could go by you and she could utilize her size. I think I had a long talk with Brian, and the thing that Brian's really good at is, I think one of the many things is he really wants his players to take risks. And that's probably where Bella needs to grow the most, in that she does everything so well. She's so used to success that it's going to be great to see her really expand her risk taking. But I think she'll translate right away. She plays both sides of the ball. She's incredibly versatile on the offensive end, and she's more skilled than I think people realize.
Wow. Coach, during the summertime, you walk in the gym, you see 65, 70 courts full of talent. What is the main thing you're looking at to say, let me go recruit this young lady. Let me sit here and watch her. Let me see what she got. What catches your eye?
Well, are they wearing Jordans, or is they're just wearing whatever, right? Taking that part out. They're not wearing Jordans yet. That's the thing. I would say the biggest thing is impact, right? If you're watching a game and they've impacted it, there's so many different ways to do that. So it's hard to determine exactly. Some guys can really impact it by playing with pace and balance. Some can impact it by rebounding out of their area. Some can impact by covering up a lot of ground defensively. So I just really want people to impact the game, not just be a part of it.
Right. Wow. That's big. That's a lot. Coach, in your player development going forward at the University of North Carolina, in your player development session, what are some of the things that you're going to focus on to maximize the player's potential?
Yeah, I think first of all, the game is played from the feet up, and so making sure that the footwork with and without the ball is on point. I think the college game, you do a little bit of on and off ball, but the pro game's a lot of on ball action, a lot of 1v1 and then on ball screen stuff. So if you're developing pros, you want to make sure you're developing that part of it where they can really be elite at reading ball screen stuff, as well as lots of different finishes around the rim and around 5 feet, because that's kind of our game now is threes and
right.
And off foot finishes. So you always want to be good, make sure you're getting good college players, but at this level, I want to make sure that we get the guys that want to be highly drafted, we get them highly drafted. So we have to sort of figure out from the feet up how to develop them into being versatile pros.
That's big, Coach. I knew that, but to hear that gives me another type of appreciation. So I just took some from you.
Well, I appreciate that. I know you've spent a lot of time in development, and I think that's hopefully one of these quarantine takeaways, right? These kids can't be playing as much, but they can really work on their game, whether that's just their overall athleticism in terms of playing lower and things like that, or even just their 1v1. Like, what do you do before you put the ball down? Right. I mean, that's what, if you look at Harden, I mean, there's a little bit of a similarity, and I'm looking at you to Harden, right? But he does more before he puts the ball down than really any pro. Durant's really good at that as well. And that makes them so hard to guard 1v1. Yeah. Right. And so really helping people understand that the possession begins before the ball is in your hands. And then once it's in your hands. Yeah. And then once it's in your hands.
Coach, say that one more time for me. One more time.
The game begins before the ball is in your hands.
There you go.
So how do you approach the ball? And then when it's in your hands, your move begins before you put the ball down. So it's all that kind of, I think that's partly how we want to help them from their feet up into their hands.
Wow, that's great. That's great information, Coach. That's great information. Coach, your assistant coach, Tim Taylor.
Yeah.
He just took the head coaching job at the Navy.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you're going to be looking for in your assistant coaches?
This time last year, I had to hire 8 people. So I'm quite happy that right now I only have to hire 1. So I can work with the other 7 people we have a really good feel for kind of what our, how we vibe. So the first thing is how you fit into the vibe, right? Are you people that, it's a people business. Are you someone
your energy.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well said. Your energy, or, in that way. I think also the concept of the versatility of skill set, right? I don't really, no one on my staff needs to be a specialist. I want people that can have a breadth to their skill set, because our players are all going to be different. In the course of the year, there's going to be lots of different needs. So I know some staffs have their guy is the recruiter. There's one guy who recruits, and there's one guy, meaning I call everyone guys. So one of the people is a recruiter, and one person does skill development, one person does scouts. Right. Imagine if the person you really liked on the way in and you really connected with was the recruiter. But when you get there, they're never going to be here because they're always going to be out recruiting.
That's right.
Right. And so then there's a lack of connect there. So I sort of like the concept of, the versatility of skill set and wanting to be a part of something bigger than themselves, as well as, the element of the people business. I think at this level, you're getting good to great. You've got everyone's going to come with a ton of skills. They're going to be able to coach guards and posts. They're going to be able to break film down. They're going to be able to be really good in the skill development. You kind of expect that at this level. And so, of course, that's kind of, those are givens, but we're sharing on this in this platform that, you have to sort of know the game. You have to know the business as well. Know the game.
That's right. Coach, rewind your time back this past season.
Yeah.
During this season, at what point did you feel like you had to stop, pause, take a deep breath, and own your moment to bring the team back together again?
I remember we were really slim in our roster. We started the year really strong in the ACC. Mm-hmm. Halfway through, we were in the top 4, and then we sustained some serious injuries. And the way the team was made up, it wasn't like, well, we can just switch this guy into a 4 or merge this guy into a 3. They were less versatile. So it was more, you had to have certain guys, certain places. So when you lose that spot, at one point for the last 5 games of the year, we had 7 guys in uniform. you know? And so,
Wow.
you know, I remember after we had gone on a bit of a slide, I walked into the team room or the film room and I said, you're used to being, it looks like you're used to being quit on, starting with yourselves. And I'm never going to quit on you. You know, I'm here every day in the same way because you deserve it. And I think we were able to kind of infuse them with stop worrying about the result. And we gotta change our habits. Right.
Right.
And then I think also the concept of when we were down to 7, I had to tell them like, no longer can I hold you accountable. The scoreboard can. And if you care enough about winning, these are the things that we're going to adjust to. But, you know, I felt it's an easy place to be happy. And I feel so grateful that I'm sitting in this chair every day that, you know, it was easy to show up every day for kids that had trusted me and saw that things are going to change quickly here.
Wow. That's great. Coach, Swain
Yeah.
basketball. That's my brand. That's my brand. Swain basketball, my brand. But I thrive on and I live on own your moment. I want to ask you, what do those words mean to you? Own your moment.
I love it. I think it's probably mostly it says like show up, right? Like there's a is the moment tied up with a minute left, or is the moment preparing in practice when no one's watching? It's sort of a collection of moments, right? Success. And so it's being where you are. You know, this generation is really busy, right? They've got their phones all the time. They've got in college, you have your classwork, you're managing relationships, you're managing being away, all that stuff. It's like, I always say, just be where you are. And where you are, it deserves your full presence. Wow. And I think in you're doing that, you're honoring the moment, all the moments, that the in-between moments and the big moments.
That's big. That's huge, Coach.
I love that. Own the moment. It's Swain Hoops. Okay.
Own your moment.
Yeah, I heard you. Own your moment. I like it.
That's big, Coach.
Yeah.
For me, Coach, it's passion unmarked. There's no beginning and there's no end.
How do you think you came to have that as your mantra?
You really want to know, Coach?
Yeah, I do.
So I had an opportunity. I'm not going to say had an opportunity, but I went through a dark time in my life. Mm-hmm. About 5 years ago, I had to do federal time in prison.
Wow.
And when they put me in my jail cell, I was in a box.
Yeah.
And it was a door. And on that door was a little mailbox peephole where they slide your food through. And it's just a bunk bed. So I didn't know if it was daylight. I didn't know if it was nighttime. I didn't know the time of the day, the hour of the day. I didn't know nothing. Yeah. So I'm sitting there, you know, I dropped a tear. Mind you, I got kids at home, Coach.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
I dropped a tear, so I'm thinking like, oh my God. And I had 25 months. Oh. So this is on my first day.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting around, Coach, I didn't eat for like 30 days, right? So I made up in my mind, I said, you know what? I'm either going to fold or I got to own my moment. And this is the moment that's presented to me at this time. Mm. So I had to take control of the situation. So I started reading. I started writing poems. I started working on my business plan for Swain basketball. I started creating a vision, and I started seeing myself walk through this vision. Mm. And as I did it, I got closer and closer to my release date. I was training a lot of the inmates on the compound. A lot of the police officers and the warden, they was giving me a lot of salute, a lot of, you know, good praising. Mm-hmm. I was getting a lot of hope to a lot of the inmates that was on the compound. And before I know it was time for me to go. Yeah. And when I left, there were other inmates that were crying. They was telling me, young fella, man, we're going to miss you. And believe it or not, you know, I was sad too. That sounds crazy, right?
No,
I'm sad that I got to leave.
Right.
But
you owned your moment, yeah.
And I owned my moment. And that's how I came up with it. So I started creating things. And I wasn't afraid to fail, you know.
Yeah.
I made a lot of mistakes as I was creating my business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I spent more money that I shouldn't have spent, or I should have did something that didn't do it.
Yeah.
So make a long story short, throughout my business, is a business, you never know what you need to do exactly for your business. Your business is going to tell you what you need to do. Mm. And that's how I came, Coach.
Well, thanks for sharing that. I mean, I think, you know, we're all dealing with the ins and outs of perfection and the ins and outs of the changing times of goals and you know, response. So, you know, you got a good story to share. So thanks for sharing it.
Yeah, you will. You will. It get deeper though. I can talk to you about it another time.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. I'm a New Hampshire girl, man. I barely know what a jail cell looks like. I think I read about it once or something. I'm sure it's in a picture book somewhere.
I'll tell you more about it, Coach. Coach, I appreciate you coming on, speaking with me. I feel like I've been knowing you 100 years, Coach.
I know, for real. Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I appreciate you. And part of taking this job, I've been so warmly welcomed by everyone in the basketball community about, I think people want Carolina to be good. So do I. And, I appreciate you opening up your time to me as well. So thanks.
All right, Coach. And we're going to be in touch.